So the Prime Minister and his team want to cut 91,000 civil service jobs to take us back to the 2016 levels that we had and save us about 3.1 billion quid a year. The reasoning behind it is that Jacob Rees-Mogg said that, we took on a load of people because of COVID, and we took on a load of people because of Brexit, and because that's gone away now, we can cut the fat down, make it leaner, and it'll benefit everyone. Obviously, except those 91,000 people who be made redundant, which is shocking. In the past, we don't have a swollen civil service the way that the government makes out. We're still 50 odd thousand off its peak that was about in 2005. And obviously, most people in this country feel that they probably want a better service than they're getting now. And ultimately, that really means investment into the civil service, supporting its workers to deliver a really high quality service and having people actually do the job.
Now, I'm going to give you three things. Mark Sropka says they're just being made scapegoats for failing government. Dave Penman, General Secretary of the FDA, suggests that this is just the government culture war against the civil service, but he suggests it might be just an ill thought out job slash. So you got three things there. Is it scapegoating, trying to find somebody to blame? Is it a culture war against the idea of a civil service? Or is it just a job slash, ill thought out? And what do you think lies behind this? Any or all of those three, or something different?
I think it's a combination of all three. Certainly, we have a government who likes to point the finger at aspects of the machine of government to say this is why we haven't been able to deliver this. We want to cut these people's jobs to save people taxpayers' money, when we know it's a government that's put taxes up 15 times in the last couple of years. It's just, we have a government made up of people who don't see the value in a strong civil service. They don't see the value of seeing the Department of Education being well funded and supported to actually do the job it's meant to do. And this is across a number of different departments that touch on every aspect of the British people's lives. We want things done and done properly, done quickly. We want really good service, and you can't do that on a bare bones operation at the expense. Ultimately, these 91,000 people need jobs somewhere. The government will keep saying that there's 1 million vacancies for people. Well, they've just filled 1 in 10 of them, cutting these people's jobs. It's a shocking thing that will ultimately cost more money than it saves. All these people, add to the economy. The second that you make them, redundant, they take something away from the economy.
Thank you, Paul. Now I'm going to come to you, Jane. Please forgive me, Paul. I'm going to come to you, Jane. The government says this isn't ideological. It's about good housekeeping. That they're going to just take off jobs that are no longer needed, because we employed these people to deal with Brexit and coronavirus. Those things are now fading away. So they say they're going to let go 70 staff who are still working on the climate change conference. Now, is there any justification for what the government is doing whatsoever, in your opinion?
No, I feel there's absolutely not. They'd cut the staff numbers by 19% from coming into power going up to 2016. So, they'd done a 19% staff cut, and they seem to go around in this strange cycle where they decimate public services to the lowest point they possibly can. They realise it's breaking to the extent that people can't cope with it anymore. So they've wasted, they've lost all that skill and experience out of the service. They've probably paid redundancy money. And then they go through the expensive process of recruiting and training new staff only a few years later again, to let them go. And I'm sure in a few years' time again, it will be breaking to the point where they realise they can't get away with this anymore, much like the police force, where they cut 21,000 police officers, realised that it's not good for their law and order image. So after getting rid of all that experience out of the police force, they're now going to spend money training and recruiting new police officers to try and replace what they took out just a few years ago.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's training and recruiting them. And I'll tell you where else you're right. It's the visa office. We clearly need more people in the visa office, and people we need visa offices. You're absolutely correct. What do you think the consequences of this huge cut are going to be?
It's astronomical what they're going to do. 1 in every 5 workers in the entire civil service. So the 2 biggest departments are less than 90,000. So we've got a Tory MP telling people that one of the kind things we've done is put job centres there for them. A day before they announce that they're going to sack 1 in 5 of all the job workers in those offices, or the whole service they could do, because that would nearly get them up to the 91,000. It's just ridiculous.
Thank you. Some lovely comments. Neil Terry wonders why the RSPCA are investigating the government to work out where they're getting all these dead cats. It's so funny, it's Neil Terry, isn't it? Neil Terry then also points out that Rees-Mogg is going around counting the officers not at their desks, saying they need to be at their desks working, and then he's saying we don't need any of these people at all. Jacqueline Hemmings, the Tories will do anything to avoid taxing the wealth of the rich. Not much support for the government on Political Unmuted today. One last thing before we go. Paul, Labour's reaction to this has not been to condemn it. Labour's reaction has been to sort of accuse the government of, quote, pointless rhetoric and lack of action, and to say they should be bothering instead with an emergency budget to support people struggling with bills. Do you not agree that this is a pathetic and inadequate response to the government's suggestion? Paul, that's a leading question, if ever that was one, but sort of kick off. You've got 2 minutes.
It's politicking, isn't it? It's like, I think the people who are in charge of the Labour Party at the moment really believe that the best way to gain power is to have this middle of the road, not scaring anyone, not really saying anything, just saying, oh, that's not very good, is it? You really should be concentrating on other things, rather than just saying what it is. No, we support workers. We will support the right of people to work. We will talk to trade unions, and really taking a position on this. You know what? Maybe this is the right thing to do in certain areas of the country. Maybe certain areas of the country will be thinking, okay, we just want another safe pair of hands because they think the Tories are a safe pair of hands. Personally, I would like to see something way stronger. I would like to see real policies coming out. I would like to see people defended. I'd like to see a bit of passion. I'd like to see a bit of interest. And I'd like to see people who speak to people in a way that people who I know would understand and care about. And I don't think this does that at all. I don't think this meets people where they are at. Was it Blair who said that? Meet people where they were at. But I don't think it does that. It kind of just talks around an issue and without actually saying anything at all.
Keep the red flag flying here.